My name is Carson. Welcome back to Thrifty Garage, a channel where we do everyday repairs, how-tos, and reviews. In today's video, we'll be talking about lessons learned in painting the flatbed. This is our 2015 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD with a 6.0 gas, about 170,000 miles. And this flatbed had a few spots of surface rust when we bought this a year and a half ago, and over time, running salt, just reusing it for the business, started to have a lot more rust. So back on the back here, this was really bad rusty. We had the salt spinner back here, and whatever paint was here, it just pelted and basically sandblasted that, and then just the exposed metal quickly rusted. So the whole back end was looking really bad. And we also mounted our transfer tank up here. We've got a couple of holes where that transfer tank mounts. Up front here, the previous owner actually had a pressure washer unit put on here, and this probably had a lot of chemicals on there, and that part of the bed was starting to flash rust as well. So going into the season 2023, wanted to clean up this truck, clean up this bed. This is a nice looking truck. It's probably the best truck in our fleet besides my LBZ truck, but this is the workhorse of the business. This gets the job done, and wanted it to be looking nice and representing our brand well. So I'll kind of throw up some video clips showing what it looked like before, showing the process. Didn't necessarily film this. We do have some security cameras, so we'll be using our Wise cameras to kind of showcase what we did. But I guess just while we're here by the garbage can, here's a look at, we did a rattle can paint job on this. So we probably went through at least 15 cans, primer and paint, and I still want to add a little more paint. We did buy this Bauer grinder from Harbor Freight, 35 bucks. Awesome. So as far as the prep work goes, had to remove some stickers, had to remove some decals. We use this 3M eraser wheel on the Bobcat T66. We're doing our Dirty Graphics kit on that and remove the Bobcat stickers and vinyl. This thing worked great. So this truck had some of the DOT reflective decals on the side, so we used that to remove them. Worked good. Had this laying around the shop. Used one of these guys. This does not work super great. These braided wire wheels work pretty good. Our guys ran through, I think, at least 4 or 6 of these things. So that thing's pretty well worn down. Here's our Hitachi unit with a little bit more meat on there. I think they're usually about twice as long as that, probably 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches in length, and they kind of come braided and then they unbraid. And this Hitachi ended up, the quartered units worked a lot better. So we've got the Makita battery powered, but you just run out of juice real quick with that. So running the quartered options worked better. Had 2 guys just pounding this out, and put several hours into it. Wasn't a perfect bare metal paint job, paint prep ready, but it looked really, really good, and much better than all the rest that was on there before. So over the years, I've had several different projects where I've painted, and this has been kind of my tried and true method. Typically, I'll use this black primer, automotive primer. Well, this one says use on bare, painted, or lightly rusted metal. But this is typically what I use color-wise, and then I'll top it off with a semi-gloss paint that's protective enamel. This doesn't have too much shine, but it's not too dull either. So I found this kind of works best, especially on like bumpers and flatbeds and that type of thing. This time around, everyone was sold out on this stuff, so we ended up going with the white and the gray. We bought out our local Ace of everything they had. I really liked the way the gray went on. It seemed to go on the best. The white had a hard time covering up what was underneath it, but both of these were much, much better to paint on than this one. So it's hard to see between those two. So I would definitely recommend going with the gray, and if you can't find that, going with the white, and as a last resort, this darker color primer. But this is the other thing I would definitely recommend. This was $5 at our local Ace. This is a Can Gun 1. They had 2 options. This one was $5. The other option was like $3.50. Spend the extra $1. I mean, these cans are like $9 a can. But the way these go on is they slide on this way, pops right on, makes the user experience so much nicer. I've got this turned around right now. These just spray super well, really controlled, not a lot of flaws. I'm really happy with that attachment. So I haven't really calculated all the costs, but I would say we're easily $150, $200 into this paint job. It is what it is. I probably could have found better deals on paint, but and I found a lot of guys on YouTube are also just doing roll-on. I will say with the paint method, we did put this plastic on here. Didn't quite cover the cab. If we go up front here, I am a little worried we're going to have to, you aren't going to be able to see it on camera, but there is a little bit of hazing, so we might have to clay bar that off. Pressure wash it real good. I don't know, we'll see what we have to do to clean that off. It does wipe off. It just takes a little bit of work. This is a work truck. It's not perfect. It's not meant to be perfect. You know, really we're just trying to get a couple more years out of it. My plan is right now, temperature's a little bit colder than I'd like it to be. I want to come back on here and do another coat of paint, but we've got, like, these guys didn't quite get as much as I'd like. We got the ball taped over right here. Prepped this out pretty good. This area is pretty rusty too. Also, while we were in here, we cut off this intermediate piece of the headache rack. This truck has a really dark window tint, and coupled with that headache rack made it really hard to back up, so hoping that makes a difference. If it's not enough of a difference, we'll go ahead and rip out that window tint as well. But you can just see a couple little tabs in here. Like I said, we run a toolbox right here, so we're not really running anything that has a potential of going through that back window, so I didn't see a huge concern in taking off that window rack, or that window protector, that headache rack. So this bed's not really ideal for this truck. As you can see, we're single rear wheel, and it's dually width, so it's extra wide. Worked out great this winter. We put our ATV snowplow up top here, put a pallet in the back, and then ran our salters. So we had, this is a full one truck, sidewalk crew and plow crew all in one. So really good setup. It was perfect to put the ATV up top there, load up there and go, and not have to tow around a trailer because we can't with the salter on the back. But we did pop out all the lights and just put them in a bag, taped them over, try to keep everything as clean as possible. Got tape lines right here. I also thought about putting a clear coat on this. I've never done a clear coat on anything. I've just done this. But honestly, I think we're good to run it as is now. We've got several coats on it. Should be pretty durable. Should withstand what we throw at it. And regardless of what we do, it's going to get scratched. It's going to get rust again. But just trying to do as much as we can here in the front end to make this last several more years and not have to do this again. Found a couple other guys. And, one guy had a truck that looked pretty rough, and his bed was about 6 years old. So it seems like these beds don't last super long before they start really rusting out. And I think just staying on top of it like this is the way to do that. Just keep it touched up every year or every other year will probably make a big difference. A few finishing touches on this. Obviously, we'll have to put the lights back in. Want to run our DOT tape on here again. I think that makes it look real sharp. Not too much, but just enough to kind of touch it up. We've got our company logo license plate that goes on the back here. Here in Missouri, we don't have to run, we only get one tag, and if you're pulling a trailer, they want that tag on the front of the vehicle, so that allows us to run our company logo on the back. Again, we'll just untape everything, put all our lights in. I do have another reverse sensor for that guy right there. I actually want to install a backup camera on here. We do keep a fire extinguisher on here, so all of our trucks have fire extinguishers on them, and all of our equipment as well. So I've got a good shot right here of what this looked like before. We weren't planning on this main shop being our paint booth. We do have some overspray here, not super bad. Did close the toolbox, did what we could to try to keep spray down. The biggest thing we did is we cracked open these doors, and then I've got this window AC unit, turned that on high just to have some positive pressure in here and kind of force the air through the garage, kind of out the back end. Wasn't perfect, but our original plans were we were painting out in our shipping container shop, and then it rained on us, so we ended up having to pull it in here so we weren't painting in the rain. But it worked. It wasn't ideal. We did a lot of the prep work in here, and then did several coats of primer out there, and ended up doing the painting inside the shop here. Added our DOT markers. I don't think these are necessary, but they definitely make it look professional. Look more official. So semi trucks are supposed to have a 90-degree angle up top there in white. You're supposed to have 50% of your sides covered on a tractor trailer. I added these little ones down here. Obviously we have all of our normal clearance lights all the way around. We've got this back one right here, which I figured could kind of point backwards. We've also got these two corner lights as well. And then this side was a little bit different because of our filler cap. So I ended up splitting this one just to get a little bit on this corner here. I debated putting some up on the side here, putting some on the front here. But for now, I think with this corner light on the front, and then those couple up top, I think that it looks clean. It's not overkill, not too overly ambitious. I did throw these on, threw a heat gun on them just to get them to stick a little bit better, warm up that adhesive. A couple other upgrades we'll probably do. I'm going to look at some mud flaps, see if I can't even just buy one really long mud flap and then cut it in half and then just put half on each side. But yeah, really pretty much just a wrap on this project. Gonna have the guys throw in the lights, take off the tape and everything, and just make sure everything's working correctly, put on our new backup sensor, and then we'll get this truck back out on the road and back doing its job. Really happy with how it's turned out though. Well, sorry we didn't film the whole process. This would have been a great project to film. Didn't really plan on filming it. Didn't even really plan on doing this. It was just one of those things, last minute springtime, getting ready for the landscape season, wanted to do. But I just want to document this right now so that if this lasts a year or 5, we've got documentation and we can kind of have something to look back on as to what it looked like. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something from it. If you aren't already subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button, like the video, leave any questions or comments down below, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching Thrifty Garage.